Okay. Welcome to T-Space. This is very exciting. Just happy to see you all. And there's some blankets here if someone wants to sit. So, yeah, it's really great to be here in person. Thank you all for coming. I see there's a lot of people here for the first time. So I just want to say a couple of special words of welcome and let you know a little bit about T-Space, where we offer a synthesis of art and architecture united with poetry and music to stimulate innovative thinking and practice. We have a 30-acre nature preserve. It's a quarter of a mile down the road, and hopefully you'll go there later, with experimental architecture and sculpture installations on a path. We provide residencies for young architects, for emerging architects around the world, a lecture series for innovative practitioners, and now we have a new architecture archive and research library that we're very excited about. So we're thrilled today to host this exhibition showcasing the finalists of the Pamphlet Architecture 37 Open Call. Caddy Dan Zhang, Mark Laverty and Alec McCullough, Lawrence Blau, and Valeria Herrera. Thank you, Jim. Beautiful. Their work is accompanied by an overview of the 40-year history of pamphlet architecture. Stephen will talk about that in a little bit. We're very grateful to the curators Steve Pulamud and Irini Sahrelia, to coordinator Marissa Espy, and of course the architects for their amazing and dedicated work to make this all happen. And now I'll introduce our founder, Stephen Hall. Thank you, Stephen, for all that you do.
I can hold it. We've been doing this for 11 years, and my brother made this podium. As you can see, it's almost rotted out at the bottom.
It's from 1979.
Oh, it's from before.
A performance, part of a performance piece. So,
All right.
Needs
I
to
wanna-
be restored.
I'm going to start with. I wrote something that I want to read. An homage to Kevin Lippard. One big job of the living is to point out optimistic makers to future generations. There are certain people who enter our lives and change things due to their enthusiasm and positive encouragement. There are people who are more than friends, with a certain curiosity and loyalty, very rare. Visionary publisher Kevin Lippard, 1959 to 2022, was unique. Kevin seemed to always be there for others, encouraging work with his promise to publish. His love and dedication to architecture surpassed any publisher of architecture during his time, and I would bet there won't be anybody as dedicated. More than the loss of a good friend, we also lost a cultural impresario. In the fragile culture of the art of architecture, he will be never replaced. Kevin is the reason this little pamphlet architecture series continued from number 10 to 37 today. And I am sure he would love to be at today's celebration, and he was planning to be here, by the way. He was planning to be at today's celebration of upcoming young architects and artists. And that's really, as the history of pamphlet architecture really was about who is the next young artist. So we're really excited about Valeria, Lawrence, Caddy's, but I'm not going to do that because Irini said she's going to give that awards. So I only want to say special thanks to the leading support of Elise Jaffe and Jeffrey Bound. Special thanks to Matt Lake. Is Matt Lake here? Who built this incredible table on like 2 weeks' notice? This new A table. He's coming, and I want to tell one little story about. You will see in the gallery. There's an original poster from 1980, 42 years ago, right? Where there was a table that was built, so that we decided we have to build a new table that's like that, an A table with reading surfaces. And Matt Lake did it in, 10 days. So, and it's quite well made. So I was very excited about that. But I wanted to, and then at that exhibition, every architect who had a pamphlet had to do a chair. They had to design a chair. So Zaha, by the way, you will see in there Zaha Hadid's first compendium of her work. The 1983 pamphlet of Zaha was the first time her work was ever collated together in any magazine. I mean, that's how close I was to Zaha in the beginning of her, probably the most famous woman architect in the history of architecture now. But anyway, see, she sent a chair. Everybody had to do a chair. My chair is in there. That's the only one we have, the A chair. But she sent a chair from London. So 2 days before the exhibit opens, I'm going to the airport to pick the chair up. So I get to in fact, we have the packing slip from Pan Am Air. It says sculpture. So I come with a chair. I'm bringing it through. They say, sculpture? Sorry, this department's not open. You have to come back on Monday. I said, wait a minute. This is not sculpture. This is a piece of furniture. Oh. So I go over to another bureaucracy, and they go, furniture? I'm not sure that we can do that today. And I said, no, it's a piece of sculpture. They said, okay, go through. Anyway, Anthony Titus is going to say a few words about pamphlet architecture from other people's ideas of what it was, or still is. And Anthony just had a great show at T-Space, and one of his constructions, which I won't call paintings, so they're sculpture, three-dimensional sculpture, is hanging in the dining room of our house if you want to see it. It's fantastic. He contributed. That was another thing. I always said, if somebody has a show at T-Space, please give us one of your artworks.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Stephen. I will be very brief. First of all, it's so great to be standing somewhere around other people, speaking to them, and I'll be very brief. First of all, congratulations to the curators, the artists, and the architects in the exhibition. It is beautiful, exquisite, and is really in the spirit of what T-Space and pamphlet architecture is about. I can say on a personal note, pamphlet architecture was and remains a really important part of my life. When I was a student at the Cooper Union, pamphlet architecture was a beacon because it was one of the few independent, uncompromised projects that celebrated new ideas and visions for what the future of architecture and art could be. So I think the projects in the gallery today speak to that legacy. As Stephen mentioned, the publication has always sought to really support the ideas of architects in a very early or formative stage, transformative stage of their lives and careers. Just to name a few, Stephen's publication with pamphlet architecture, Bridges, which was 1977. He was 30 years old.
Zaha was also 30.
30, yes.
Zaha was 30 when she did, right.
Right, Planetary Architecture in 1981, and Einstein Tomb by Levius Woods, which was in 1980, at the age of 40, I believe. So I think the exhibition today really carries that legacy of celebrating people at very important phases of their career, and as we're now in the 5th decade of pamphlet architecture, celebrating the 37th issue, which will be published perhaps in a couple of months. I think it's really just a wonderful day to celebrate the vibrancy of a project that continues with an eye and an ear towards the future. Thank you.
We have a publisher, by the way. We just found out like 2 days ago. Station Hill Press. All right. Susan Quasha and George Quasha agreed to publish number 37. So we're really excited. And we just applied for a grant because the grant deadline was today, right? It was yesterday?
A couple days ago.
And you need a publisher to apply for a grant anyway. So we're going to do it. We're going to do it.
And we've gotten a grant from Elise Jaffe and Jeffrey Brown
Elise
for it
Jaffe
as well.
and Jeffrey Brown,
So-
always supporting us. And now, Irini Zakrelia will give the awards, right, to the 4 winners of or 3 of them are here. One is in London, they couldn't make it, but 3 are here. Of the young architects, they have to come forth and get your little certificate. And I was going to do this because I said, Eon is going to come tomorrow or today. Are you sure you want to do this? And she says, yes. So Eon is also present. He's not here yet. And maybe he'll do a pamphlet in the future.
Thank you. I'm very grateful to have contributed to the exhibition together with Steve. I have co-curated the show, and it's beautiful, and I love to welcome the all artists here. And for the first time, it's a group show at T-Space.
Right. No, yeah, it's very rare.
And I'll start with Valeria, right? Congratulations.
Thank you.
To the beautiful work in achieving the 4th place at the pamphlet architecture competition.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Lawrence Blow, 3rd place. Congratulations, Lawrence. Blow. Now, Alex McCullough and Mark Laverty, who are in London, and congratulations to them as well. The next author of pamphlet 37, and here is also the voluntary author. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
We're looking forward to that pamphlet, and now that we have a publisher, all you have to do is prepare it because they're going to print it. So it's going to
2023.
I think this can happen rather quickly. I mean, well, it depends on you. But nobody, you're the editor. You're the editor. There's no other editor.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
George Quasha, the poet and artist, is the author of 20 books, including most recently, Not Even Rabbits Go Down This Hole, Preverbs 2021, and Waking from Myself, Preverbs 2022. His books on poetry and art include Poetry and Principle, 2019, Axial Stones, An Art of Precarious Balance, 2006, An Art of Limina, Gary Hill's Works and Writings, 2009. A Guggenheim Fellow, an NEA Fellow, he collaborates on work with artist Susan Quasha, with whom he is also co-publisher of Station Hill Press in Barrytown, New York. George, can you please join me up here? Thank you. So it's my great pleasure to introduce George, our 10th annual T-Space Poetry Award recipient. For many years now, we've been great admirers of George's work and his incredible work, and he's played a key collaborative role at T-Space since the very beginning. Through the years, we've been delighted to host George's poetry readings, a poetry commission, music and visual performances, and his memorable writing. His advice is always spot on, including brainstorming with Stephen the very idea of T-Space giving a poetry award 10 years ago. And equally important, George and Susan are always connecting us with their wide community of amazing poets, artists, and wonderful people in the Hudson Valley, many of whom are here today. And as Stephen said, in our upcoming collaboration, Station Hill Press will publish Pamphlet Architecture 37. We are honored to celebrate George in this 10-year milestone of the Poetry Award. And I'd like to present you with the award, and I hope you will open it and show everybody. Oh, I can hold that. Okay.
I'm afraid.
Be very afraid.
Wow.
And it's a plaque that is an artwork by Jim Hall.
Hey.
It's called Low Lying Cloud, and anyway.
It's a put your coffee cup on.
Put your coffee cup on.
Now I can be a professional. I'll put this over my door.
There you go. That's beautiful.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you, Jim. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you.
Our pleasure. Thank you. So I'm going to put it under here for now. Or no, actually, I'll hold it for you. I'll hold it for you. Okay. So only thing is, it doesn't seem that this is working. So how do you? It
Just
looks like
press
it
hard.
might be broken. What?
Press hard.
Press hard. Come up here and help us.
Oh, this is.
I think it's broken.
Yeah.
So do you want me to hold it? I don't mind.
For the whole time?
I don't mind.
It's long. I'm reading for 3 hours. Okay.
I can actually hold the mic. Come on, George.
Okay.
I only need one hand.
For what?
I can put it down. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you for this, and Stephen, thank you very much. Everybody involved with this amazing project. It's been part of our lives, really, for what? How many years is?
12 years.
12 years, yeah. Yeah. You think of summer, you think of T-Space. You know, it's amazing, yeah. I don't know any people except the people I've seen at T-Space. Crazy. Yeah, well. So, thank you. Yeah. I think I said that, but never enough. I think my first awareness of Stephen Hall, actually, was the St. Ignatius Chapel in Seattle. I didn't even know who he was. And I went to that chapel, and it quickly became one of my very favorite pieces of architecture. I mean, how many bottles of light?
7 bottles.
7 bottles of light. Each room has this incredible particular quality of light, corresponding, I think, to St. Ignatius' ideas about light and color and all of that, yeah. So it was an amazing experience, and then I got to meet you, and we became friends, 13, 14, 15 years ago or something like that. Amazing. So, the other memory that I want to share with you is that the last time, I think it was, that I read here was for the exhibition of José Ubrery, right?
All right.
And they kindly commissioned me to write 2 poems. And that made me very nervous because I don't write commission things. I don't do things for a particular purpose. It's just not how I work. But I managed to do it on that occasion. And I've never done it since, except in a certain sense, I'm going to read a couple of poems, 4 poems actually, that were written in the idea of coming into an architectural context. Not like that other one, but nevertheless, I'm going to give it a whirl. So what I'm reading today, I'm reading various what I call preverbs. And preverbs are poems trying not to be proverbs. And if proverbs create a sense of pretending to have wisdom and to know what an eternal truth would sound like, I think it was William Blake was the first one to destroy that idea, to indicate that that idea was a very false notion about language. And since that time, probably others have done similar things, but I got the idea that I wanted to see if I could write in the condition of the impulse toward wisdom, but without actually allowing myself to get into the illusion that you have actually accomplished such a thing. So I'm at that edge. In fact, when I was giving that reading, I read, there were 2 lines that I'll read now, just the 2 lines. The senses talk back to the world. I further animalize the world. And at that moment, the readings were over there in those days, the frogs began to croak exactly at the moment that I read that line. And the audience burst into laughter. And then I thought, oh my God, I can't keep up with this, this event. So, okay. Actually, I would put my water bottle there if I could get that. It would be great. Thank you. Thank you very much. However, the first poem that I'm going to read is not from that series. is the first series in a first poem in a different series of 34 poems called Nostalgia for the Present, Gnostalgia. And this particular poem is called The Radical Ordinary Just Saying. And it has an epigram that has the word eggcorns in it. I don't know how many people here know this word eggcorns, but it refers to the habit that people have of mishearing something, and then the misheard thing becomes the norm. I mean, that's happened with a lot of great words that have gone down the tube because they got misheard and then turned into something else. But since that's so much the part of how I think a poetry mind actually works, that mishearing is even more important than hearing correctly. So that gives you permission to mishear everything I say. So I also wrote a little note just quickly to specify that the name of the architectural thing is architectural misprision. And my justification for that is that a poet is always writing the first poem, as an architect keeps making the first house. And as a person who's awake to their environment keeps crossing the threshold of that house in a first time forever afterward. So now I'll read this other poem, The Radical Ordinary Just Saying. What's to know? And it looks to be here. A bird in the hand is not even close to a bush. The center never ceases to fold. A new discovery widens the sense of absence. My brain got off the leash and ran me ragged in the name of birth. There's no accounting for sadness with no end, nor the following joy. I walk through the syntax as climbing stairs gets me up. My life, or the situation for which there is no easy way out. Not knowing who I am, my prejudice leaks away. The healing stance is close up now. My picturing takes a shot at your imaging. There are no rules for a higher magic. Language doesn't take at face value. It only looks like the one thing it isn't. The score is to follow. An eye in a bubble follows you where it goes. Let me slip into my other subcutaneous body, sailing on ballooning currents. The rest is lucid being. So these are the 4 poems from Architectural Misprision. Are you timing this? You should be.
Do whatever you want.
Oh, good. 1, talking to a hole in the ground. And the epigraph here is, a real building is one on which the eye can light and stay lit. Ezra Pound. Coming to the idea, it's a poem, sets the first house on edge at gut level. The first blow is struck, getting a feel for the end of the line. We're only on a walkthrough, even as we speak. Anticipating stable structure traps me deeper in my illusions, starting now. Home is where no one is watching your back. If this is a monologue, it's because my body is learning to be a window. This place was blank and with unacceptable history when I decided to build here. Inviting you here is unacceptable ownership. I lose my bearings at the thought of you. Forgetting all that has happened underfoot leaves the open space in a shock. Life isn't long enough to get fully oriented to being here, right here. The laws of nature are learning new habits right now. One is never doing another's body movements for all of appearance. The gravitas is in the slippage. The punch goes all along the line with your own lengthening. You're sure you're hearing what the words are thinking against the sky. New habiting is the matter of gaze. The treasure is keeping the gaps. It's all made up, itself, by itself. It takes wishing to be here as the line goes down the middle. 2, hearing hereabouts. The house lived is in a slow moving wave. Think anything seen from here, an imitation of light on water. The maker's the one person who doesn't have to know what it means to be inside. The magic is underfoot with pulse. Here, good thought is an adventurer narrowly escaping a highwayman. The best things thought and done are bait for the thrills of turning it all over. I'm still trying to imagine what it is to build where I stand. I'm thinking variations on the theme of my life by dreaming it up. I'm experiencing attraction by sleight of interruption, and all along, the water waves. The crest takes you by the pupil lit. Time overwhelms in visibility. Meanwhile, language hangs in the slide from view. Listening is not built to last. Your education thinks otherwise, inasmuch as it's still a creeping violence. So where are we in this self-made continuum in what we're saying, living it? Time to catch the wave, translating what's yet to be thought right here. Cresting is intransitive. We're here waiting for the place to translate us all the way into now. The full performance is what we mean by self in this habitation. Light poesis gives words back their first use rights. Only light can teach dance in where you stand, barely moving. 3, misplaced concretions. The epigraph is, the poem sounds real when no matter how many times read, it remains unread. And the first house is still to be entered. Antonymous, the particular. Reversing the experience of the Fantastic.
Those are all new, right?
last 4 days.
Amazing. It's like the one you wrote for Jose Uberi, which is really a fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
First house.
The
Yeah.
first house,
Yeah.
I have it, and I always thought, how can we, make an illustration of buildings to go with this poem and make a publication? But now I'm thinking we should do a film, because the reading in a film would be better. I mean, we have to edit it. But
You gotta talk to your crew back here, Steve. Nobody's hearing you but me.
oh, okay.
Well, now for my encore. I'm going to read one poem. You're spared anything further. From the new book, Waking from Myself. Thank you. done that before. Is what you see is not what you get? Is that the one I was going to read? I'm not sure. I'm not sure either. Okay, well, I don't think so. No, here it is. Yeah, all my modifiers dangle in time. You know, a lot of people don't know what that means anymore because people don't study grammar anymore, so you don't know you're not supposed to let them dangle. So you don't get to discover the ecstasy of letting all of your modifiers dangle. All my modifiers dangle in time. Even if you knew what it all means, you'd ask what it all means. Inquiring self-generates. I have successfully romanticized my actions, so they tell me. Actions speak more verbally than words. Believing the music is the music of dark places. Resisting repeating is getting out of the way of deafening momentum. Music, by contraries, suckles my vagaries. Gut feeling sounds its slush with swirl aiming. Thinking is humming to itself, running up throughout the tune. The song captures its lack. Shield shell so you dwell, singing at the corner of thinking dimensions. Believing hypnosis shows the hypnosis of belief. Poem models how we talk to ourselves by way of other hearings. Key attributes don't stick out. Belief edits and radiates like science hypnosis. Radial meaning you can't keep hold of briefly revels. Conscious belief evolves consciously while still believing unconsciously. No need to search out the connections ever in search of themselves. If it happens, it happens. If not, not, so to speak. Seeing before is not now seeing, nor not. Alive now sees everything created is for me, not just me. Thank you.
It is really a great honor to have Kyle Gann here today. We're very excited that you're going to share a portion of Whispers, a new composition of 7 movements performed by David Sikowski on keyboard. Sorry about that.
That's great.
Kyle Gann is a composer and author of 7 books on American music. His rhythmic language is steeped in polytempo, phase shifting, alternate tunings, and other such numerical devices. Gann's writings have been published widely, including The Village Voice, where he was the new music critic for 19 years. Since 1997, he has taught music theory, history, and composition at Bard College. Thank you both. David Siklowski, pianist and vocal coach, is a visiting artist in residence at Bard College, where he is director of music for Opera Workshop, coaches singers, and teaches private piano and oral skills. Thank you both.
Thank you.